Hey everybody, this is Randy Santel, Atlas with Atlas and Zeus Promotions and proud owner of foodchallenges.com. Very excited tonight because I'm here with Ken Domik. We're in Toronto, Ontario, Canada with KBD Productions TV. Tell us about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm a food reviewer, do mainly Canada stuff. Every once in a while I dip down to the States and do some food reviews down there, but mainly fast food to really cool burger places like this.
And we just did one tonight at Wild Boar here in Toronto, which that review is already up on his channel by the time you're watching this. But for our video, a lot of people have been wanting to ask questions, and I haven't really done a Q&A video in a long time, so we wanted to do this special video. Special guest Ken Domik. He does a lot of eating, obviously, with his channel, and he's got a couple questions that he has, and I know a lot of you guys have the same kind of questions as well from reading all of the comments on all of our videos. So go ahead, Ken, ask away.
Alright guys, if you know my channel at all, every once in a while I do dip into doing food challenges, not to the extent of this guy, but so I guess questions that I would have for food, doing competition stuff. Do you prepare at all before you eat something big?
Oh, I most definitely prepare before basically every challenge, but there's kind of two ways that I go about things now when I do these long tours. Like I'm on a 78-day tour right now. Basically my preparation is the night before. So really the challenge that I just did prepares me for the next one. So in between those two challenges, it's mostly about cleaning out my system. So I have digestive enzymes that I take before every challenge, and then when necessary with like 72-ounce steaks, I take some fiber supplements and things like that afterwards so that I'm clean and empty, ready to eat the next one. But before all of my tours, and when I first started doing challenges, and anybody that's wanting to do one at home, basically I'll eat big meals for a couple days and drink a lot of water. But then about 20 hours before my big first food challenge of the trip, I'll eat about 10 pounds to like 12 pounds of watermelon. So it basically just kind of maximizes the stretch of my stomach, but a lot of that is water, so it kind of just goes right through me so that I'm able to eat the first food challenge that I got coming up.
Does that mess you up, 12 pounds of watermelon?
It's not very fun. It's mostly you're peeing a lot because of all the water,
right.
But then I drink water on top of it too. But it's nice because you don't have as many calories. Like when I'm doing these tours, I'm eating thousands and thousands of calories every time, so it's rough on the body. As you can see, I'm not even all the way through this tour, and I already got a nice pair of these growing. But
and just in case you didn't know how tall and big Randy is, so I'm 5'10", average size, 40-year-old. This guy's 6'5".
6'5", I'm probably weighing about 300 pounds right now. I'll have some weight to lose when I get home.
And I'm about 220 pounds, so when I first saw him cross the street, I'm like, holy cow, because I always see him sitting in his videos, so he's never really walking around or anything, and there's nothing to compare him to. But this is how you can compare his size, so he's a big guy. So I'm like totally fascinated now on what the enzymes or whatever you eat. Like, is it just like a vitamin supplement?
I get it just from a website, but it's basically your body produces its own natural enzymes in order to break down all the food, but it's not really able to produce enough to digest a 72-ounce steak or say whatever 6 pounds of food.
Good
so
video, by the way.
It's basically like reinforcements that basically help my body. So like when I first started doing food challenges, it would take me forever to eat them because my stomach capacity wasn't that great. And then I would feel so bad, just like after your Thanksgiving meal. It's because your body is using all of its resources to process all that food, which makes the rest of your body tired, so you take that nap. But because I take those digestive enzymes, if it's a normal 5-6 pound challenge, I'm able to just function normally.
All right, Randy, I'm sure a lot of people on your channel are curious as to what is your favorite food. It's something you have to have every once in a while.
Yeah, I get that question a lot. A lot of people want to know what my favorite foods to eat are and then what my favorite challenge was. So, favorite foods to eat, I'd definitely say pizza. My favorite challenge to do is say a team pizza challenge. All kinds of pizzas are good, and then Mexican food. I like burritos. Nice. What about you?
Recently I've discovered I really like sushi. So if I'm like walking through the mall and there's all different types of food, all different types of restaurants, the guy making the sushi is probably where I would end up.
Okay. Now, what would you say is your favorite food that you've ever reviewed?
I haven't reviewed it because nobody has ever made it the same as this restaurant that my wife and I used to go to all the time. But it's called Lobster Thermidor, where they cut the lobster in half, the claws. They empty everything out. They put it into a saucepan with like a white sauce and mixed mushrooms and spices and everything. Then they put it all back into the lobster shell, and then they bake it with this cheese on top. Oh my gosh.
They need to do a food challenge with that. I'd say, as far as my favorite food challenge, actually, by the time you're watching this, you probably haven't watched it yet. But in Chicago, I did an 8-pound grilled cheese sandwich at a place called Cheesy's, which is
I heard of that
off
place.
the Belmont stop.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal, and like 50 people came to watch. It was really neat. But
Very
then
cool.
in England, I did a food challenge that only 4 days in advance notice we actually booked it. The restaurant got about 100 people to come watch. So it was at a place called Bear on the Square in Milham, England, which nobody would ever hear about it. Nobody goes there as far as tourism goes, but my buddy wanted to see me do it on his birthday, so he bought something from our store, and I said, all right. But yeah, over 100 people came to watch
Lots
me
of
be the
pressure.
first to beat it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a big one. It was about a 3-kilogram deal, so it's not something where you can just say, hey, I got it easy, but it was a lot of fun.
Do any of these restaurants ever give you the meal for free anyway, just because you're like advertising them?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Most challenges, there's only a few times, and a lot of people that watch my videos, if I'm wearing my hat forward, it basically means that I'm not getting the meal free even if I win. So when I do those, it's
Really?
usually just
Okay.
because I wanted to do the
Signals.
food. Like in England, I did a whole thing of bangers and mash. I was the first person to win, but the cheap ass restaurant just made me still pay for it, which was stupid. But it was good because I just really enjoyed the meal.
Okay. I guess another question I think your viewers might want to know is the whole crossing yourself, and how did that all come about? It's like a routine that you do just before you eat.
Yeah, I've got my ritual where, as far as for the actual food challenge that nobody ever sees, is we do the pictures, and then while Mitch is doing all of the beef footage and stuff for the video, I'll go to the bathroom and get all that, because you can't go to the bathroom while you're eating. So I will basically say my prayers and stuff, and bathroom, wash my hands, then I come out and I sit at the table, make sure everything's good to go, and then I'll do, as far as right before I eat, I do the sign of the cross. It's basically just because my family's Catholic. I'm not going to say I'm a practicing Catholic, but we do that, and then I turn my hat, and like a lot of people have watched on the Vice documentary, it's basically stems from one of my favorite movies, Over the Top, with Sylvester Stallone.
yeah,
Have you ever
right,
watched
yeah,
that?
yeah.
So I basically transform into Atlas, and then I'm ready to dominate my challenge, and God help any food that's sitting in front of me.
Nice.
So
I'm sure a few people have asked you this too. What do you listen to music-wise? Because you always see you have the earplugs in.
okay.
So you're listening to music to generate some.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Still?
Even when you're working out or doing whatever, and I answered this on the first Q&A, but
Oh, good.
not too many people have seen it, but a lot of people still ask. When I'm doing my food challenges, I want to have my mind off of the massive pile of food in front of me, so I listen to music in order to basically distract my mind. So what I listen to, and I've had the same playlist forever, it's basically Kesha, Miley Cyrus, Avril Lavigne, Taylor Swift,
Nice.
Eminem, NSYNC, Dixie Chicks, and then there's some other rap on there just to man it up a little bit. But I get in that dancing kind of pop rhythm. Makes if you ever watch a video, you obviously will see me shaking while I'm listening to my music. It's because I'm in that groove, and it helps me eat more, really.
Cool.
So, and even when if you were just eating a normal meal at the house, listening to music, watching TV, eating with friends, you tend to eat more
Oh, okay.
without even really thinking about
Right.
it, because you're not focused on your meal, you're focused on other stuff.
Cool. All right, here's another question. When I see competitive eaters eating in a competition, they're always standing. As they're eating, they'll jump up and down. Stoney, he does his little wiggle thing that he does. It looks like you're sitting. Are you sitting when you're doing yours?
No, I actually kneel, and a lot of people wonder why I do that. When you're doing a food challenge or when you're doing a contest, all that food is just playing Tetris going down into your stomach, so you're wanting to help it all shake it down.
Right.
But when I am doing my food challenges, it's a terrible video for somebody to film me standing because the food is so far away. So I end up kneeling, not only to help with the video, but also because it still keeps me upright. Because when you're sitting like we are now, you're basically cutting off use of some of your stomach. Okay. So like if you're gonna do Thanksgiving or doing your own food challenge, try kneeling or try standing. You'll be able to eat more than if you're just sitting there, sitting down.
Good tip.
So, yeah.
So out of all the things you've eaten, what is the worst thing you had to eat, and how much of it did you have to eat that you did not want to eat?
I think one of the hardest challenges I've ever done is in England. It was the Almighty M challenge in Burton-upon-Trent. It was basically 4 long, foot-long breakfast sandwiches along with a bowl of chips, which the food was good. It was great, but they eat beans and tomatoes on all of their foods and their breakfast. Yeah. So they put them all on this sandwich, and all of that soaked into the bread. So I basically had to eat 4 feet of sandwich that was all just soggy with beans and tomatoes. It ended up taking me 8 cans of Diet Coke to basically get all the food down. It was a struggle.
Yeah. But is there anything that you had to eat that you didn't want to eat, or do you always eat things that you at least like?
The good thing about food challenges and with all the variety out there is I can kind of choose what I want to eat. If a food challenge doesn't look good, or if it's way too stupidly big or anything like that, I can just go and do others. So I've never really done anything that I just didn't want to eat. I'll do spicy food sometime. Yeah, those totally kill my stomach.
They hurt.
It's one thing to eat 7 pounds of food, but it's another for all of that to just be shifting down. It hurts just as much going out as going in. So
I have one more question.
Okay.
I hope this is what you guys are interested in knowing. What is the most amount of food weight-wise that you've ever eaten in one sitting?
The biggest by weight is in Cavan, Ireland, and it's got tons of views. I really appreciate everybody that's watched it. But nice. Breakfast that was basically 8 pounds, 10 ounces. It was basically just 10 of everything. It was freaking huge. But I've also done quite a few others that were like 8 pounds, 7 pounds.
Like the spaghetti one with all the jalapenos.
Yes, yeah, the chili mac that you watched. Right? Yeah, I did that. For example,
you did a good time too.
Oh yeah, like 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say is sometimes you can do 9 pounds of something really quick, but it'll take you a long time to do 4 pounds of something else. Right. Like for example, if a beef patty or a steak or anything like it's cooked way too well, you'll have to chew it, all that. Or if it's just a really doughy pizza, something like that, you spend all your time chewing. And if you're doing an eating contest or a challenge, if you're chewing, you're kind of wasting time. It's more about, if you watch, especially in the beginning where I'm eating really quickly, it's basically just take a series of small bites and then swish a little water or whatever you have around in your mouth, get it down as quick as you can.
Right. One more question. I noticed there's sometimes you'll use utensils. Does that not slow you down?
No, a lot of people.
I see some guys just grab it and it's going hard.
Well, a lot of people watch my videos because I try to eat so clean when I'm doing it.
Oh, okay.
Like there's a lot of guys that'll just dip their hands into a burrito, and at the end of the period, they'll have about 1/4 of a pound of food just sitting on their hands. But I use my big spoon, my big utensils, my big forks and everything. You get as much on there neatly and cleanly, and then just get it all in your mouth, and you're able to really, at the end of the day, I've done some eating contests with people that ate really messy, but I was still able to eat faster than them, just because if you're able to swallow faster, that's how you win.
Right, okay.
So it's not all about, yeah, being messy does help sometimes, as long as you do it properly, but there's a lot of people that are just messy for no reason. So I try to make sure I'm clean whenever I'm doing everything, and utensils obviously help with that.
Well, thanks for answering my questions.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it.
So another last question for you, Ray. What is your end goal? What do you plan to achieve from your YouTube career?
Well,
or the food challenges anyway.
Well, as far as the food challenges, and a lot of people wonder that too, especially people that watch the Vice documentary, but my main goal for food challenges is to basically get over 500 food challenge wins in all 50 states, along with at least 25 countries. So I just got my 9th country, which is Canada, while we're up here. I got a couple wins, obviously, that you guys will be able to watch here coming up, but really I want to get to 25 more. So we're going to Europe next year, we're going to Germany, Czech Republic, many other places, wanting to get to Australia and Asia, along with all of the Western states. So that's one of the main goals. And then once I do all my food challenges, I'm wanting to focus on really getting into nutrition and helping people with weight management. Like if you see me, I've got the boobs going, the belly. It's because I've done over 50 food challenges in the last 2 months. Well, once I get done with this tour, I will be able to basically lose it all within a few months, just by going from one extreme to the other. Obviously eating thousands of calories per day doing these challenges. Then once I'm home, I'll be eating the vegetables and all that healthy stuff in order to lose the weight before I get ready to go to Europe. Okay, so that is the end of this Q&A video number 2. I want to thank Ken for being part of it.
No problem.
Appreciate you letting us be part of your review as well.
No problem.
Be sure to check that out, the links in the description. And feel free, definitely follow Ken and all of his stuff at KBD Productions TV. He's got YouTube, he even vlogs. Vlog. He's also got Twitter, Instagram, and all that. So thank you to Ken for meeting us here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And then thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, win before you begin.
Nice. Cheers.